Boy, nothing like coming in right at the last minute or a minute late or two. Sorry about that. It's actually been a hectic but fairly productive Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon. What do you think? So, didn't get all the photos loaded that I wanted to get loaded. So I may try to do that actually while we're doing this. So we're just going to have to remember that we're on the screen and...
Excuse me.
Oh,
I haven't had a rest this afternoon.
Just thought all that. Hey, everybody. Hey, Deep South and other fellow Mississippi people. Deep South, we'll be heading your way before you know it. We'll be down there.
Right.
So to sit down and chat about marriage tips and homestead heart.
That's right.
About how to keep from getting hit in the head with a frying pan. That's what Danny's going to talk about, our tried and true methods for avoiding frying pans. And we're primarily doing that to help Mr. Rain because he seems to have a fascination, and I think he has a phobia of cast iron skillets. Because he keeps talking about pygmy goats and cast iron skillets, and I don't know, there's something wrong with that guy. But so we're going to do everything we can to help Mr. Rain and other hard-headed husbands out there, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So good, Dave. Thanks for joining. Glad the weather's clear in Georgia, so you can see us good and clear. 61 3rd, we will have been married 30 years this coming July. And July is a good month because it's my understanding, if I remember correctly, Danny and Wanda are also, their anniversary is in July. So that's, just say yes, ma'am. I'm pretty sure that's Wanda typing that, but she's right.
Well, we've been together 32 years.
Yeah, we actually misspoke.
Yeah, my first video, I said 37 years.
Said 37, but what's 5 years among friends, right? So I feel a little better about that because she had initially said 37 since we had been a couple, and Jared Stanley over at J&J Acres was kind enough to point out that he's about to turn 35. And I told Patty, we've been together longer than Jared's been alive.
No, Jared pointed that out.
Yeah, Jared pointed that out.
And I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, she didn't appreciate it. So now, it's a lot better to know that we got together when he was 3.
He should be calling me Miss Patty, and he don't. He's not being very respectful. He's not on here either. He don't know.
No, he hasn't gone. He'll probably be on here.
Y'all make sure y'all tell Jared that I said he's disrespectful.
Yeah, Jason over at Big Bear Homestead said he's not hard-headed. Well, that's what happens when it gets softened up with a cast iron skillet after a while, Jason. It's not hard. It's a cast iron skillet is also a head softener. And so, yeah, I got your number, pal. I know what that is. Well,
I have to go let Tootsie in.
All right, you go let Tootsie in, and while you do that, I'll point out that what we're talking about, cast iron skillets aside, is that Danny and Wanda asked us to collaborate with them on this Homestead Heart series of marriage tips. We've been married almost 30 years. They've been married 3 years, going on 4. And I think that's right. And about 3 years. And so they wanted to talk to us and us talk together about how to have a successful marriage from the perspective of a long-term married couple and also a newly married couple. So we both did introductory videos. Well, because they've only been together 3 years, they were able to kind of set their entire story with one video. And we asked permission to do 2. And so we did our first, and we left a cliffhanger. We left you with our relationship on the verge of divorce, so many years ago. And then this past week, and it was so funny, y'all, we kept getting comments, jokingly, thankfully, but playful comments of like, we're going to unsubscribe if you don't post part 2. You're killing us. We're bound to know what happened, and, we're dying, blah, blah. So we finally did last week, so you can go look for it, Tommy and Patty's story, and I look like I'm been sucking moonshine in that thumbnail or medical marijuana or something. But anyway, Homestead Heart Part 2 is live. I think we put it up yesterday around noon sometime, if I remember correctly. So it's up there. And so look for additional, and by the way, both of our parts, plus Danny and Wanda's introductory video, is in a playlist on our channel. And I think they have all three of those videos in a playlist on their channel. And we will be shooting 1 or 2 videos coming up very soon when we return to Deep South Homestead.
Yay!
We're going back. And those will also be added. And then I'm kicking around a Marriage Tips for Men series based on my rule number 1s. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, you might have seen my post on rule number 1s. And everybody kept joking, all your rules are number 1. I said, yeah, because I can't figure out how to rank them. They're all important. For example, rule number 1, it's better to have peace than to be right. Jason, make note of that, Jason. You keep your head soft that way.
But you're saying, by saying that, though, you're saying that you're usually right, and I'm wrong.
No, I'm not.
So you're just saying that I'm right.
No, I'm not. See, that's why I need to do little brief. I thought I would do a little short video explanation of each one of those rules. So each one of those little pithy sayings that could use some explanation to make sure they're not misunderstood like that.
Oh, okay.
It's not saying, I'm saying I'm not right. It's rather to have peace than to worry about being right. It's not even worth trying to be right. It's better to have peace.
You just rather not try and prove me wrong.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Toby, quit growling. Whose side are you on? Anyway.
Hey, there's a lot of people making comments in here. Oh, there's somebody, old Alabama gardener. Wife and I've been married 52 years.
52 years. Round of applause, everybody. Everybody stop and clap. Y'all do them little clapping emojis that I don't know how to do.
William McFadden says 42 years. There's a lot of people that's been on here that's been married.
Wow, William, great.
Longer than us.
Praise
Somebody
God, that's
said 42
awesome.
years. That's William. And then 38 years, new ways, new times. So that is great. That's a blessing.
Big Bear's grandfather told him when we got married that he could either be right or he could be happy, but never both. That's too funny. Too funny. We're so glad that y'all joined us. And boy, we're already up to 75 folks, and we just hit the 9-minute mark or something like that. And we certainly appreciate that. We had a busy week.
Well, busy weekend anyway. I can't remember the week.
Yeah.
I can just remember yesterday.
Well, yesterday was just a blur. I don't even know if I've got, if those pictures have loaded yet. Hey, let me look just a minute. We're not going to disappear. Yep, those are loaded. So then I can.
We disappeared.
No, we didn't. We're still there. We're still there, but I need to go add some of these pictures. Why don't you talk amongst yourselves?
Well, I was going to tell Claire thank you. She said, you two are very wise. Thank you for taking the time to do this, and Deep South, too. Well, we really had fun. It was fun. We don't always go back and reminisce and talk about when we met and talk about the different things. And, I think it's important to do that. I think I really enjoyed it. I think Tommy enjoyed it, too.
Yeah.
And really just looking back and seeing God's hand and giving God glory for the things He's brought us through. And, we'll be talking more about those things when we meet with Danny and Wanda, just, after we did turn our lives over to Christ and start following Him, and how He led us and how He guided us and still does, and just different things that we've walked through in our life and in our marriage that it's just... I like going back and reminiscing, and I don't think we do that enough.
Yeah, we don't.
It was lots of fun. So.
Yeah. See, this is the problem with pulling these in now. Wait a minute. Let me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bandana Grandma. 48 years. I knew I saw 40
wow.
something. So I tried to scroll up and find it, but it's right. So hard to do that, especially when you're trying to look quick. And Susan Sullivan says she's going on 37 years. So that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That really is awesome. It's a great encouragement. It's a great encouragement.
Y'all hang with me here.
Yeah, that's right. Donna says one thing she's learned is no one can make you happy, and that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, and that was part of my problem.
Yeah.
That was part of my problem.
Yeah, but let me make sure I understand that. No one can make you happy. Yeah, but that you're not saying you need two, right?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. We don't want to get into a sister wives kind of thing. No, thank you, ma'am.
You brought that up.
I know.
Buddy.
Well, it struck me funny. All right, let's see. That I had to kill a couple things in the background.
That's right. Donna says happiness comes from within ourselves and faith in God.
Keep talking.
Okay. Big Bear says when Robin and I got married, we made a deal that she would make all the hard decisions and I would make the easy ones. Now ask me how many decisions I have made in the last 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna be getting that pot again, Big Bear.
Yeah. No wonder.
Yep.
No wonder your head's not hard, Big Bear. Let's see. All right. While
Oh,
Patty's talking, I'm in here pulling pictures in. So just give me a minute.
And Silverman Acres said, and Homestead said 20 years this coming June. That's awesome.
Man, that's fantastic. That's we love hearing stories like that. There's not enough of that. You know, my parents were married up until when my dad died. They'd been married 60 plus. I don't remember exactly how long, but 60 plus years, because they did have a 60th celebration.
That's right. That's right. One lost dude is bad. He says, one is bad enough. Who'd want two, Tommy? And you know, we've talked about that. I mean, you know, I just can't imagine it. You know.
Yeah. No, and it's not a matter. I mean, all joking aside, it's tough enough to. It's tough enough for two people to blend together, you know, and to have harmony in their lives. It really would be. I just don't. That's ridiculous.
And if y'all watched our video, I talked about jealousy. There's absolutely no way I could live like that.
Yeah, that would be tough. Okay, baby, I think I got all. I didn't crash anything, and I got all the pictures done.
And Big Bear, we got to say this because Big Bear said that he married up. So.
Oh, didn't we all?
Robin walked in the room. And he's trying to get brownie points.
Yeah,
you're right.
So he grabbed a shovel and went to digging. Yeah, digging himself out of that hole. But hey, we all married up. I know I did. I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you right now. I would not have a penny to my name if it wasn't for this woman right here, because it burns
well, we
a
don't
whole.
have too many pennies.
Yeah, we have 4, but we almost got a nickel. But I wouldn't have anything because I'd spend money like I don't know what. She's the budget guru. I handle the bills when she reminds me to do it. That's how that works.
Somebody had made the comment, said it's, and I can't remember who it was, and I can't find it, that whether you're married 1 year or 30 years, you know, it's something to be celebrated. And, you know, that's so true. And that's when somebody made the comment that they've only been married 5 years, they're newlyweds. But, you know, it's all to be celebrated because it's
right.
to God's glory that, I mean, you know, the world is telling you, you know, don't accept this or to do this or to do that. And I mean, you know, somebody said they took the D word out of, you know, their vocabulary, divorce, you know, and that's so true.
Yeah.
You know, you work through your problems. You work through, nobody's perfect, and we all have our little quirks and, you know, different things. But
I told Patty when we got married, divorce was not an option because my family didn't get divorced and all this kind of stuff. And but we were real close to being the first. It's the first time for everything, and we were real close. But God, you know, how many times can you say, but God?
And there's something we're going to share with y'all later on the show that is another just total praise to God.
Yeah, should we do that now? I mean, I put the title Secret Revealed.
Yes, because you can, yeah, I think that would be a nice thing to do now, to go ahead and show them our secret. But we can't talk too long about it because look at all the pictures we have.
I know. I'll try not to talk too long about it. Well, first let me ask you this. Show of hands, and I can't wait for you to answer because we're on a delay.
We can because we can go through some of these things, so go ahead.
All right. I want to know how many people noticed in last week's show and then also the show that we did on the road in Memphis that I almost told you something. I almost shared a secret with you, and we had to stop both times.
Yeah, and I stopped him.
Yeah, without saying why we had to do that. We'll explain that in a minute. But I just want to know if anybody's watching, noticed that we almost let you in on something and then pulled back and didn't tell you. There's a reason why, and you'll understand in a minute. So While we're waiting on you to say if you saw that or caught that, Patty, you said there's things you can address in the.
Well, I mean.
Hey, Natalie.
Oh, is that our friend
That's Natalie.
Oh, hey, Natalie.
Natalie is quick on the draw, and she is the first to comment on almost every one of our videos. And I hadn't seen her in a while. She came back and popped up yesterday, I think, on a video. And turns out her phone had been broken.
Oh.
But she's back up to speed. So everybody say hey to Natalie. She is a faithful commenter on almost every single Alderman Farms video. And she plays soccer. I can tell you that. She plays soccer.
Bandana Grandma, I am not pregnant.
No, she's not.
That is not. That would be a big shocker. I'm 49. I'll be 50 in July. So that would be a big surprise for me.
All right, let's see.
But I would still probably be excited. I know that sounds crazy. But
I think Praise 7, the hand, I think, and Annette R., I believe they're raising their hands. And,
yeah.
Kim Farmer said I caught it.
Yeah, Terry Abbott said, yeah, she got the Patty look.
Oh, you
saw
caught
me, huh?
Yeah, I got the Patty look.
Don't say that.
Oh, speaking of the Patty look, I hope y'all watched the little video of Tommy's in trouble with chicken and pigs. Let's see. Sorry, Natalie, you got to understand these chat boxes go really, really fast. And sometimes you don't see the comments. So if you have a question, the rule is type it out in all caps because it's easier for us to see it because they go by so fast and we still might not see it. So don't get mad. Keep coming to my videos and keep saying first because it makes me smile every time you do it.
No, he's not getting a new tractor.
No, I'm not getting a new tractor.
That Kubota is still real good.
All right, so we've had enough time. Oh, yeah. Football, that's right. So we've had, didn't find the ring.
No.
But there were several people who said...
No, it's a secret we've been keeping.
It's a secret
that
it's a secret we've been keeping. So here's the deal. Here's the secret. So it has to do with the dog attack. So whenever if you've ever been in the hospital as a result, taken to the hospital as a result of a traumatic injury, they check you out from head to toe. Even if it's obvious, like it was in my case, that the damage was all about my head and face and stuff, they go through this protocol to check you out from head to toe. So they're doing that. I'm fully clothed. They had taken my t-shirt off, but I still had my blue jeans on. And there was a team of doctors going over me, and one of the doctors down near the bottom of my left leg said, "Oh, he got you down here, huh?" And I said, "No." I said, "All the action was up here. I promise you that. I know where his face was. It was right here." And they said, "Well, there's a hole down here in your pants." And I said, "Nah." I said, "Well, and if you remember, I had a pretty good wound right here on my chest that I knew for a fact was from one of his front paws as he was trying to push away from me." And I said, "Well, maybe his back claw got down there and might have scratched me, but he never bit me." So he pulled out my pants leg and nothing. There was no injuries or anything. So we just forgot all about it. So as you may recall, I didn't spend the night in the hospital. We were there 10.5 hours, 6.5 hours of constant stitching. And they sent me home that night. So we come home and
I washed his clothes that night.
I don't think you did.
Oh, I think it was the next day.
Yeah.
Because they were stinking. I never realized how blood stunk.
Yeah, because they were covered with blood. And so the next day, I had disrobed in the bathroom, and the next day I went to the restroom or something, and the way my pants were laying, the holes, there was 2 holes, and I could see them, and they were right there, and they caught my attention, and I said, "Those holes are round, and they're the same size." And my face, I'm sure, turned white, and I brought my pants in here and showed Patty. She was the only one here, and I said, "Patty, these are bullet holes. These are bullet holes." So if you remember the story, if you hadn't, go watch the story. We'll put a link right here on the replay video. How about that? To the story of when dogs attack, that my 19-year-old son, Corey, had to shoot the dog off of me while we were still fighting. and he was afraid that he was going to shoot me. And he was able to process, I'm about to shoot my father in the leg. He thought my left leg was in the line of fire behind the dog.
Yeah.
No. He said, I'm about to shoot my dad in the leg, but that won't kill him. This dog will. And he did what was necessary. Well, apparently he was closer to being right. His assessment of the situation was better than he thought. So we can't remember if it was later. So I've told Patty, Corey shot through my pants leg, and it was either that day or maybe the next day. Patty was out where again.
Me and Tommy were. It was you. You were out there too. You just don't remember.
I don't remember being there when you found that one.
Yeah, you were. You were
okay.
There. You just don't remember.
Maybe so. So we were out there, and Patty we found all the bullets that all of them hit the dog. All of them went through the dog.
Yeah, because the sheriff's deputy counted the holes in the dog. All the bullets went through the dog.
He hit him on all shots. And she found the bullet with denim fibers in it.
Yeah.
And so, don't believe me? There it is.
And see, his pants were bunched up. So
I'm gonna show. I got a picture of that. I'll show that in just a second.
And
so one of those holes is an entry hole. The other is an exit hole. And if you see that little piece of something at the bottom of that mushroomed 40 caliber hollow point round, that's a denim fiber. It still had pieces of blue jeans in it. And what Patty was explaining to you is this.
And no, Natalie, he did not shoot his daddy. He was shooting at the dog that was attacking his daddy, and but the bullet came so close to Tommy it went through his pants.
Yeah, he was shooting at the dog to save my life, and he did save my life. My son saved my life, and so that's how. My pants were just kind of, because you imagine me and the dog were wrestling all over the ground, so my pants legs got all bunched up above my knee or around my knee or somewhere like that. And so they were bunched up like that, and so the hole went in one side and went out the other. So we just praise God that it did that. That was less than an inch away from his skin. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So there's all the more reason, and we've kept that a secret because, I guess probably the day you realized that you talked to a friend in law enforcement, and he told Tommy that to never tell Corey. He said it would cause him to hesitate if he was ever in a life or death situation again. He might hesitate, and
at the time it made sense,
and it still makes sense. That still makes sense. That would cause someone to hesitate. I've always said that if it would have been me that had to shoot the dog, I feel almost certain I would have hesitated, which would have been the wrong thing to do, And
Corey didn't.
Corey did not, and he didn't need to hesitate. So that made sense to us.
So, yeah, it did. And so fast forward to just 3 weeks ago or thereabouts. And there's a man in Mississippi who is, he runs the Mississippi Law Enforcement Alliance for Peer Support, MS LEAPS. And he wanted to meet with me. He'd heard about my story. He'd heard about that I was talking about critical incident stress principles, that helped us get through the aftermath. And
us being concerned about the need that the public, everyday people have critical incidents too. Not just people in law enforcement or military or whatever that, like we did that y'all walked through with us. Yeah.
And so he wanted to have lunch with me, and he ultimately offered to retrain me because I haven't been a certified critical incident stress debriefer in a long time. But he offered to recertify me for free, and so we're going to do that. It's going to be like sometime in the summer. Mm-hmm. Be a 40 acre or 40 hour recertification. But anyway, so we had lunch, had a great visit, and he was sort of surreptitiously, he was kind of debriefing me more as we talked.
Oh, I think you may be forgetting to say that on the way there.
No, I haven't. Okay. That's what I was just about to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because you're kind of putting saying. Go ahead.
No, because it was during the talk, so
okay.
he's pulling things out of me, and I revealed to him that on my way to eat lunch with him that day, going down Highway 84, I had a flashback of, Duke right here. And it wasn't something that caused me to wreck or anything, and just kind of caused me to jump, and then it was gone. It wasn't causing me this big deal. And he said, you really shouldn't be having flashbacks anymore. And I was having them, occasionally. They weren't really disrupting me, but I was having them, and it would scare me. And he said, what are you holding back? And I said, what do you mean? And he told me the story about a police officer who'd been involved in a shooting somewhere, and the police officer was holding a clear plexiglass riot shield kind of thing that you could see through. And during this shootout, the bullets were hitting that plexiglass shield, and he could see the bullets. And so he went through debriefing and all that, and he called this man sometime way after, and said, I'm in a ditch. And he said, what do you mean you're in a ditch? He said, I'm in a ditch. I ran my car in a ditch. He said, what happened to you? He said, I'm driving down the road and I see this giant 300-pound bullet coming at the windshield of my car, and I drove off in the ditch. And Tim, my friend's name is Tim, he said, what have you not told anybody about that event? And he, like me, said, no, nothing. I can't, there's nothing. I haven't held anything back. To make a long story short, he pressed him, and the guy said, you know what? There is this one thing. Mm-hmm. And he told him what it was, and his flashback stopped. And so he asked me, what have you held back? And I said, nothing. Patty and I have talked about everything. I haven't left anything. And he did the same thing with me. He said, no, research shows you got a secret. What is it? And then it dawned on me, I haven't told Corey. We haven't told Corey.
And we really hadn't told anyone. I hadn't told my sister. That was one reason I stopped him during the last week's show. Because Mama was there. Mama didn't know, and we're not going to tell Mama. But just because I think it would upset her.
Yeah.
But and Mama probably wouldn't have heard us talking about it. But my sister Julie was watching, and I hadn't even told her yet.
Yeah.
And we've told all the kids, and I honestly haven't told anybody.
Well, and the week before, when we were in Memphis,
yeah,
she stopped me because we hadn't told Cameron yet. And because, again, we didn't tell any of the kids because we weren't telling Corey.
If we weren't going to tell Corey, we couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah, but once we told Corey, then we immediately told the other kids what had happened. And we hadn't gotten to Cameron before he came in that room, and so that's why Patty had to stop me.
Yeah, we wanted to tell him in person, so.
Yeah. So
I just didn't know how it affect him, and it didn't affect him at all. He was just like, wow, so it would have probably been okay, but I didn't want to tell him that on camera just in case,
So we get him home. It was several days after that lunch before we were able to sit Corey down.
I think it probably was Saturday night after he got off work.
Maybe so,
or
but it was a couple of
it was a couple.
It was days. 1 or 2 days later.
It was a few days, yeah.
And we didn't want to tell him over the phone, so we bring him in here and sit him down, and I'll start telling him, I got something I got to share with you about the event, And I said, I'm sorry I didn't tell you before. I was advised not to. Yada yada yada. He starts grinning.
Yeah.
He's over going.
Before he actually tells him what he's wanting to tell him, he's grinning.
I said, what are you grinning about? Do you know? And he said, bullet went through your pants leg. And I'm like,
we're like, how do you know?
How do you know that? And he had actually sent, I don't remember if it was my phone or yours.
It was mine, I think.
One of our telephones was laying up on the counter, and he's on one of our iPhones, and we had texted each other about the topic, and he saw it.
Yeah.
And he knew. He knew the whole time.
And Tommy didn't think he knew.
I didn't think he knew. But here's the cool thing. Not only since I told him, but since I was having lunch with that man that day and made the decision that I need to tell Corey this, no more flashbacks. The flashbacks have ended.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Not only that, I can purposely take my mind back and go through the struggle again, and my heart rate doesn't go up. I can now separate emotion from fact. And it's just an amazing thing. So I'll be writing about that in my upcoming book. But
finally writing a book.
Yeah, speaking of Tim, let me just plug this right quick. If you haven't yet, there's a link in the bottom of this description, right below the title in the description, that says get your free post-trauma guide. And it's based on stuff there you can see that MS Leaps there. That's what Tim is the head of in Mississippi. But go get that, because I really do want to share the principles that have helped. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Carmela, if you will send us a message, I will do my best to get you some resources. Okay. Talking is so important, and it's really the first step to healing, is because it's nothing mystical about it, nothing magic. It's called catharsis. It allows you to process. One of the first things that I knew to do because of my training was to get Patty and Corey together, and for us three to talk through the incident from the start to the finish, and to each tell our parts of the story, help each other fill in blanks about the other person's role in the story. And it's very, very important. And so, Carmela, if you will send me a message, I give you my word that I'll do everything I can to find some resources for him. Okay. And
it will help you too. It'll help you.
Yeah,
also.
it'll help you too. It really will, because everybody's involved, not just the person. So
that's right.
So anyway, there's our secret. Sorry to clickbait you too badly on the title. I did that kind of as a joke, because clickbait's a big topic of discussion on YouTube now. But it ain't clickbait if you deliver. And I think I delivered.
I wanted to add something too. When you're talking about things and everything, even before Tommy was trained in critical incident stress debriefing, one thing he realized after we were born again and all, because he was a police officer, and it was a small town and everything, but he saw things that were gory. I'll never forget, he had to try and resuscitate a baby, or either was there when the paramedics did. I can't remember.
No, it was me. Her name was Chandelier.
Yeah, and at the time, Carly Ann was the same age as that baby.
Chelsea.
No, it was
6
Carly
months
Ann.
old.
It was Carly Ann.
Was it?
Yeah. We were living at Mama's then.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Anyway, he went through some things. He saw some things. Wrecks where things are pointing the wrong way, and just hard things that he saw that a lot of times being men, will see and just internalize and not talk about it because they're the tough man, and he learned that God gave him me to help protect his heart, and he learned to come home and talk to me about it and to get it out, and that really helped him. He was not your atypical police officer that I've seen. I shouldn't say that, but I mean,
you shouldn't say that.
But a lot of times,
edit that out.
A lot of times, there can be a gruffness or a distance, and everything, and
or cynicism.
Yeah, I mean, when you keep stuff in, that puts a distance there and everything, and I don't know that he always told me every bit of the gory details, but God equipped me to be able to handle what he needed to say, because it needed to come off of his heart, not stay there. So in anything with marriage, even if you don't have that kind of job where you're seeing that kind of thing, if you go to the office and work, or if you go wherever it is you work and have a hard day, or this happens or that happens, your wife is there for you to talk to.
Yeah.
And it does nothing but help you.
I'll tell you how I learned that. And this is not exactly exegetical. In other words, this is not coming out of the meaning of the text of Scripture, but it's a beautiful illustration. I had a pastor one time say, who was counseling me in this, and he said, God formed Eve out of Adam's rib, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, what's the primary purpose of the rib cage? To protect the heart. And he told me, he said, Tommy, God fashioned Patty perfectly to protect your heart. And he said, and rather than holding that stuff from her, dump it on her, or dump it to her. And, that changed everything. So,
and I mean, honestly, I've never been affected by anything he's ever told me.
Because in that process, he protects her heart from being contaminated by the yuckiness that I needed to give away. And it's just an amazing thing that God has set up like that. But there's power in talking through it and talking to somebody you love and who's able to take it away from you. And it wasn't that she needed to tell me anything, and it's kind of weird, because men are usually the ones that try to
fix everything.
And Patty would have to tell me,
just listen.
Quit trying to fix it. Just listen. Well, that's what she would do for me. She wouldn't try to fix it. She would just listen and let me talk it out and process the pain, and it would go away. So, anyway, gosh, we're halfway home, but that was good. I know we talked more about
what is that name?
Praise 7.
Praise 7. We do feel like it is a ministry that God is. That has turned something so terrible, like His Word says, that He can turn everything around to His good or to His glory. And He
promises to work all things together for the good of them that love Him. Hey, look.
So that's,
I believe we go through, most of the troubled times that we go through, I think, are to equip us to help others along the way, to share there's no telling. If you've watched our Homestead Heart videos, especially number 2, then Patty talked about depression that she used to have. God has used that in her life.
Yes.
Man, I don't know how many times.
I had a miscarriage with my first baby.
Yeah.
And I've been able to minister to so many. Let me address, Big Bear says, how do we know, how do you get over the fear of her looking at you different? Well, I just want to direct that, I can't even talk now. Answer that directly by saying, more than likely, she knows already. You just don't know she knows. And God's equipped her to handle it. That's what she's there for. And I guarantee you probably won't be able to tell her much that'll surprise her. Am I right? Things that you've shared with me, things that you were ashamed of or whatever in your life that you have shared with me. My reaction has been sometimes that I already knew. I just knew. Yeah. So don't ever be afraid of that. She loves you. She has your heart.
Listen, let me dance around this for just a second to make a point, because obviously we're on YouTube, we own the interwebs, and so there are things that we're not going to share with the world on the internet. But I can just tell you that I have shared things with her about, my past that there just ain't no way that she could have ever, just no way. And she knew somehow, so intuitively. But it's not intuitively. It's because God equipped her. And so, but in turn, but then, so that's dealing with things that I have done, things that you have done in your past. But Jason, in terms of you sharing with her the pain of the things you've seen and the things that you've suffered, brother, I go back to what I said at the beginning. God has equipped her for that. And so you need to trust that God has equipped her for that. And when you hear your flesh or the devil saying, don't open up to her because she'll never look at you the same, you know what? Tell him, you're exactly right. She's not going to look at me the same. She's going to look at me like a husband who understands that his wife loves him and who understands the role that God gave her. And so
she'll love you more for sharing, because there's something there, and then that will be removed.
That's right. Well, not only that, here's the other thing that just occurred to me, and you tell me if I'm right about this. That junk that I poured out to her about the pain that about having to deal with that, losing a 6 month old baby girl, whatever that was. I don't remember. I remember her name, and I went to her funeral. I was the only white guy there, and they loved on me, and we cried together, and it, that was a good time. But me pouring out that pain to her was like fertilizer in the garden, and it made her blossom more.
Yeah, and you got to think about this. I believe the baby was 4 months old.
You may be right. My memory's
And
not
he
what it
came
used to be.
home.
I can still see her, but I can't remember her age.
He came home very shaken up, very upset to hold our baby.
I was the first one in the house.
Yeah, at the call. But he came home to hold our baby and praise God and thank Him for our baby. But he told me about what had happened. And I had a baby that age. He wasn't scared it was going to scare me that the same thing was going to happen to my baby or that it would make me upset. Or no, he got it out. By this time, this was 3 kids into the marriage. So by this time, we had learned a little bit.
Yeah.
He did. He poured out to me. And it helped him through that.
And it helped me through it. It helped me through it. You know, it's not magic. It's God's design. And so, you know.
I'm sorry, Bonnie.
We can talk more about that if we need to.
That's right. And Bonnie, God understands the groanings of your heart. There's been many times I haven't been able to pray, but just to cry. And He heard my heart.
Absolutely.
Because He knew what my heart's cry was.
Absolutely. And the scripture says that that's one of the jobs the Holy Spirit functions, is that He is able to pray on your behalf through groanings that can't even be uttered, the Bible says.
That's right.
And so I guarantee you, I mean, some of the most powerful prayer times I've had in my life. I remember praying for my daddy to be saved one time, and I couldn't get any words out. They was just snot and tears flying everywhere. But that was one of the most powerful prayer times ever, and I knew it was because the Holy Spirit was interceding on my behalf with words that couldn't even be uttered. You know, so yeah. Boy, we kind of got off on a tangent tonight, didn't we? I'm not going to say I'm sorry though.
No.
I'm not going to apologize.
Nope.
Because it's good stuff, and I feel like I almost feel the Spirit of God really moving in that, and so I'm hoping that people who needed to hear something that we've said, that God will use it.
That's right.
So kind of weird to move from that to jambalaya, but y'all, that's the next clip, and y'all, we ate good today.
I have been stirring.
I'm talking about we ate good. I posted, if you follow us on Instagram, I posted girls.
Sometimes it's not. I think it has to do with the amount of
if you follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, I posted a picture today. On my plate, there was a helping of squash, a helping of sweet corn, and a helping of jambalaya with pork sausage in it, and chicken.
And pork chops.
And some pork chops cut up in there.
And the deer you killed year before last.
And deer meat. Mm-hmm. And everything on that plate, except for the rice and the onions, came from AldermanFarms.
Yeah,
and
pretty neat.
That's a pretty neat thing. So
yeah, well, and we didn't actually grow the corn though, because I bought the corn and processed it though.
Oh, that's right. That came from Mr. Cloyce, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was local anyway, so that's right. We didn't grow the corn. I need to go back and correct those posts because I put that they did.
Oh, yeah, we didn't grow the corn.
Yeah, so
but we're going to be growing some other stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be growing some other stuff, like this is one of them pictures that got twisted around. So just
no, that's right.
No, you took it the other way.
Oh, that's right. They're not seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was holding my phone like that.
That's all right.
But anyway, this is sweet potato starch. Sweet potatoes that I dug my trench. Like it said, I had my book outside, and I've got dirty fingerprints on it. I'm going to show it to you. That Danny has put together over at Deep South Homestead, and they sell this book. I think it's $8. I'm not sure. I forget how much. You might want to do it, Tony.
That's good. Now you got it good. The Sweet Potato Manual, because Danny King is the Sweet Potato King. His first name should have been Sweet Tater. I may start calling him Sweet Tater.
Oh, there you go. That'd be a good nickname.
Sweet Tater King. So, I believe Wanda's on here. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Wanda, feel free to put a link to post, since you got a wrench, to put a link to the Sweet Potato Manual. So, because everybody needs, if you want to grow sweet potatoes, you need to have Danny's Sweet Potato Manual, because it leaves nothing to the imagination.
Well, and I mean, from start to finish, you know. And so what I'm growing and what I was doing, you first dig a trench about 12 inches deep, and you put some compost and everything and mix with your soil. Excuse me. And then you want to have the trench about 6 inches deep to put your sweet potatoes in, cover them, and then they're going to grow slips, little plants that you're going to be able to pull up in about, I think, 6 weeks. But anyway, so I got that going, so I'm excited about that. And it's only, I think that was only 6 or 7 sweet potatoes, so I'm not going to be growing a ton of sweet potatoes, but I'm going to be growing some sweet potatoes, hopefully. So
good. There's the book. Thanks, Wanda. So Wanda has posted the link. It's etsy.com/shop/Deep South Homestead, and you can go get Sweet Tater King's book. Danny's Sweet Tater King. That's going to stick if I got anything to do with it.
That's right. It's going to stick. It's going to stick.
Hey, Yankee. Yeah, Big Bear. Big Bear said I'm so doing that. Big Bear's going to help me. I think that's what he's talking about. You got to help me make that stick, Jason.
About that. And hey, North Dakota Pink, she says they're listening.
Hey, good job. Glad to have you.
So, but yeah, the book is. I mean, it has every step. Oh, and it has pictures in it too.
Yeah, it's got pictures, Jason. That doesn't work for you, right? Jason knows I'm kidding.
I don't know what
Jason knows I'm kidding.
See, this is a picture that I was looking at right there. And then it's got numerous pictures throughout the book that, you know, it's great detail on how to do everything. Is that showing? Anyway, so I'm excited about the book, and I'm excited about growing sweet potatoes because I've never done it before.
On the other night, was watching Wayne's Country Living. He had J Null Zero there with him, and you know he'd never seen J Null. Oh my gosh, that dude is so funny. And they were fussing. J Null couldn't read the chat box, and Jason was telling them, "Sound them out, sound the words out, nice and slowly." So that was my little joke with Jason right there. That it's got pictures. It's a picture book. And so we got the sweet potatoes in the ground. We also got Irish potatoes in the ground.
We did.
Red potatoes.
We got a long row.
We got some.
Hand me my phone, please. I measured the garden because somebody asked how big it was.
I forgot to. Oh, doggone it.
Did I do something?
Yeah, you keep touching that cord. Yeah, you can unplug it. Thank you. Don't mind us, folks. We're just.
This is Tommy. This is after we got the potato. You didn't get one of the potatoes in the ground? That was on your phone.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Oh, that looks so cool too.
Yeah, that's us putting mulch.
Anyway,
I did all the work, y'all.
I call that a triple row. I'm not even gonna address that. They know you're not telling the truth.
They know I'm lying.
No,
I wandered off taking videos of baby goats while she was in there.
I know. I thought, you know, my back is starting to hurt having to crawl on the ground putting all these potatoes in there. But anyway, so that turned out good, and we put mulch on top of that, up on top of the.
We may have a video coming out of all that. We tried something, and I may have outsmarted myself. I set the GoPro camera up on the corner post of the garden, and just started it filming, and so filmed it till the battery ran out. And but the problem is, I mean, I had it set on 720p. And so it creates a new video file at every 11 minutes or something like that. And each one of those 11-minute segments is like 4 gigabytes. And if I try to pull all those things into my editor and edit them, it just almost locks up the system. So I don't know what we're going to do. But I got some of that, all that footage of getting that row ready and stuff. But I don't know. It was kind of too cute by half, but
those are about a 45 foot. That's about a 45-foot row, and I put 3 rows of potatoes in there, so that's like having 3 45-foot rows. So I think it'll work good. So
there's our alderman peas. You heard us talking about alderman peas. That's actually a thing, and it's not because they're here. It's actually the other way. They're here because they're alderman peas, and we figured how can you have a name like AldermanFarms and not have alderman peas? It's an English pea variety, originally called, I think, either telephone peas or telephone pole peas because they grow really high. And there's a story about when they became called alderman peas, but we're excited about that. Anything you want to say about the alderman peas?
Well, I actually, if y'all saw the video, I had planted like 2 rows in my box and had, put it on each side of the wire and everything, and doggone it, if hardly any of them came up. The ones that you just saw was all that came up, and I dug them up and moved them. And so I hope I didn't disturb the roots too much. They're still alive today.
Yeah, they look good today.
Yeah, they still look just as healthy today. And last year when I checked the viability of the seeds by growing some in the greenhouse, that every pea I planted came up.
100%.
Yeah, and so I was really surprised at the low stand that I got in the garden. But so I went ahead and started some of the I have to water the stuff in the greenhouse.
That's a great cart, Jason. Jason said they had that cart and worked it till the wheels fell off.
Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about. Anyway, so I'm going to start some peas. I started some peas in the greenhouse, and I'll get them. I'm just going to transplant them out. So.
Hey, Lowry family. I hope I said that right. I'm looking. It's either Lowry or Lowry, I think, but Lowry Family Homestead. Yeah. So we got those in there. Let's see. Patty actually did some work.
I have to tell him everything to do out there. Don't
That's
make it
true.
sound like I don't do
That's
anything.
True. Even though I did do some work, she had to. And look, but let me tell you
something. He keeps interrupting me, saying, "What do I need to do?
Yeah,
what do
that's
I
right.
Need to do?"
I learned a long time ago. Don't assume nothing.
Oh
Ask.
no, it's because you don't pay attention in the garden.
Yeah, that's part of it. So tell them what you're doing here.
All right, that is a little area, a little bitty area. I planted some breakfast radish. It's supposed to be up, I think, in 24 days. We're ready to harvest in 24 days. So that's just a little bitty area there. I didn't have anything planted.
Now, that's where your hand is, but
Yeah.
obviously there's something already green there.
Well, you said tell them what I was doing. I told them what I was doing there. But anyway, yeah, right in front of my hand, or forward, that's green onions that we already had there. And then to the left of that, I planted some new green onions, and I filled that box up. I have some spinach in that box, and I also planted my seed potatoes that I got out of the carousel box at the very beginning of that box. And I had some white potatoes and some purple potatoes. I'm excited about them.
I heard
And
Danny talk.
some
Danny,
red.
just you might have missed this. He was talking about on his live show last night. He's never had any success, or any. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wanda. I think he said didn't have any sustained or good success with white potatoes down
Really?
there.
Well,
but the reds do well.
Right, and there's a reason they sell red potatoes at the feed store and not white potatoes.
Not white potatoes.
Well, I know that you get, it's called Idaho potatoes, white potatoes that you get in the store, so maybe they just do better up north. That's a variety for up north, maybe.
Maybe so. Dirt Patch might know.
But I want to get some of those fingerling ones, too.
Like Danny had?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah. Danny, Wanda, if you got it, we want to buy some of them little butter, whatever you call them, that taste like they got.
Fingerlings.
I know, but they said they taste like they're buttered already when you cook them.
Well, first I want to know if you got to peel them, because if you got to peel them, they're too little to peel.
Well, you ain't got to peel them. You don't have to if you don't want to. I think that's it. I think we actually got them all in there.
Did we get them all in?
And look, in time too.
In time. What time is it? Yeah, we got 6 minutes to spare.
6 minutes to spare.
All right.
What y'all want to talk about?
Yeah, Big Bear says Yankee Tater.
A Yankee tater. Is that what it is? A white potato is a Yankee tater? That makes sense. Red potatoes where rednecks live. And white potatoes with people up there with all that pale skin. That don't
What'd
make.
you say?
That's why red potatoes go down here where
Oh.
the rednecks live, and the white potatoes live up there with all the pale skinned people that don't get to go outside. Am I right? You know, so I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe not. Well,
Heidi
yeah.
says yellow taters for them. White ones do well, but they like yellow ones. See, I didn't even know there was yellow taters.
Well, I've cooked them before. That's what I make. That
Oh,
soup
that's
I
right.
make for Guillermo.
Yeah, that's right. Ajiaco, the Colombian soup.
Ajiaco.
Ajiaco. Say that 3 times fast.
Somebody says,
Can't even spell it.
which potatoes are the healthiest? I don't know.
The ones you grow at your house.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We have not told them. I sold something yesterday.
Oh, that's right. What did you sell yesterday, honey? Hurry up.
I sold my whole laying flock of hens. I mean, my old laying flock that was 3 years old. I advertised them on Facebook yesterday, and somebody came and got all of them. I told him he asked for a deal, And I told him a price that I would take only if he would take the extra roosters too, and he did.
And he did.
And so now I've got that area cleaned out. We're fixing to go move Delawares. As soon as the show is over, we've got to run out there and move some Delawares because I'm trying to hatch out sex-link chickens.
Well, we need to let them get bedded. Let it get a little darker and let them get bedded down.
We're going to fall down.
Nah.
Watch.
She sold 17 black ocelots and got $80 for them. 3 years old.
Yeah,
They were still laying.
But that was a good deal.
Yeah, no,
That was a good
I'm
deal.
saying it was a good deal.
That's why they went fast,
That's
'cause
why
it
they
was a
went
good deal.
fast. We just needed them gone. They've
Yeah.
been a good flock.
Yeah,
and,
they have. I
and-
just need the room for the other
Yeah,
chickens.
and then we've had our pig herd reduction sale going on, and it went
Yeah.
gangbusters today.
He didn't do as good as me.
No, I didn't do as good as her because I'm like, the whole time the people are talking, I'm still shoving pigs in their truck.
He did.
Trying to sneak pigs
The
in their
first
truck.
the first one came to get 2, and they left with 4.
They left with 4.
And then the next one came to get 2, and they left with 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he did good.
Well, we got rid of
He did
7,
good.
and then there's a lady coming tomorrow. There's 2 little ones, 2 little babies who are probably they're having a hard time because, well, the mama was young. Long story, but she's going to take them. I'm just going to let her have them. She's going to bottle raise those, and so we kind of had we had a productive productive Sunday. So, and then we had this great show. I mean, I really feel good about this show, y'all. I'm really going to pray that God uses some things from the chat and things that we talked about in here to help somebody. And God is good. Christ is good, and He's got mercy overflowing, and He's just ready to pour it out.
That's right.
But you got to come to it with empty hands, and and it only works if you've been born again. The only prayer He'll hear from someone who's still attached to their sin is a prayer of repentance and asking for mercy. And He's eager to hear that. And His entire plan was to redeem sinners. And what kind of God does that? That is willing to take the punishment that His creation deserves and to pour out mercy. But that's the kind of God that I have. That's the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and His name is Jesus Christ. And He died on a cross and rose again on the 3rd day. And He sits at the right hand of the Father, ever exalted and making intercession for me. That's unbelievable because I'm not worthy of any of that. And He gave me His worthiness and took my sin in its place. And man, I almost feel like I need to hand out a collection plate. I didn't mean to get to preaching there again, y'all. Sorry about that. Quickly, 1 minute.
Yeah, I know. Quickly. Yes, I am going to breed my own sex links. Yankee Living asked that. Simply Life, Homesteading, Pioneer Way. Do you have any more chickens for sale? I do, but they're the pricey ones, the breast chickens.
Yeah, the American breasts.
If you're interested in that,
BRESSE.
I can make you a deal. And North Dakota Pink says, do you have any help on your farm? You're looking at it.
No.
Our 20-year-old son does help us occasionally, but he is in college and plays tennis and he works. So, our farm is not that big, but we're trying to reduce our pigs, get our pig herd under a manageable size because it's not manageable right now. So that's all the ones I could squeeze in right quick. Thank y'all so very, very much.
Yep, thank you guys very much. Just got time to remind you that whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. We can never say enough how much we appreciate you and thank you for your love and support and encouragement and for taking time out of your day to sit here and listen to us ramble.
It means so much, and we really do
really
appreciate
does.
each one of y'all and all of your comments and your thoughtful words.
All right, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. See you later. Bye.
Good night.